without further ado, let me introduce our guest today first before we actually show Mr. KC Chong on air. All right. So Mr. KC Chong have about 40 years of experience in stock investing, and he is a well-known blogger on i3 Investor Forum with a total of 395 articles with over 4.62 million viewers. So I guess our audience today, most of you must have read Mr. KC Chong blogs, in one of your journey throughout this stock investment. And he's also our fundamental value investing advocate. He is strongly propagating the value investing, throughout his this recent 20 years of investment life. All right. And he's also a certified financial planner and master in finance. And not to mention, he just recently published his first book, Invest Like a Stock Market Guru, the complete value investing guide that works. And this book, right, is actually recommended by the famous investors in Malaysia, Fong Siling. I know all of you must have heard of this name before, Mr. Leng Yan, and also one of the prominent i3 investor blogger, Mr. Ui Tek Bee. So without further ado, let us welcome Mr. KC Chong on air with us. Then say hello to everyone.
Hi, good evening to everyone. Ni hao.
Hi, Mr. KC. Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
Well, okay, Mr. KC. So before we actually start this session, good evening to you, and thank you for joining us today. It's our honor to have you on our Facebook Live today and actually have a chance to interview you on the fundamental value investing and also your journey as well. So I'm sure a lot of audience here today, right? They actually have been investing in the share market for a while, so they may familiar with your blog, with your pen name, KC Chong NZ, and our i3 investor. But I think very seldom people see you on the Facebook or on seminars. You share on your investment journey. All right. So would you please introduce yourself to our audience to let them know you furthermore?
Okay. Thank you, George, and thank you those members in EECAMERON. I'm actually honored to be invited here to share my knowledge and experience. Just now the introduction, Josh mentioned that I have 40 years of investing experience. That is true. Because I started investing when I first came out to work in 1980. Today is 2020. Yes, 40 years. But I can tell you, out of 40 years, probably 25 years, the first 25 years, I just simply invest. Most of the time I lost money. I don't even know I lost money. It's only towards the last 15 years, I actually evolved into a value investor. Okay, so I will introduce myself. Maybe with this, I know a lot of you are young people, so you will gain from my experience what I have actually haven't done or didn't do well. Okay, that will be better experience. Okay, actually I am a civil engineer in my first profession. Actually, I worked as a civil engineer for maybe 25 years. Before I became a financial planner, I studied financial planning and later got a Master of Finance from New Zealand. Okay, now like most other X-generation people, I'm an X-generation, born in 1940s, 1950s. Most of us are poor. Our parents are poor. Okay, our parents give birth to a bunch of kids. They struggle with the living. They have to go and work. My parents actually are rubber tappers. Okay, I still remember 1 month they earned 40 ringgit. Every day go and work 40 ringgit. So we are born in that environment. And I was born in a Chinese new village, 10 miles from Bentong, Pahang. Okay, so life was tough. We actually have to help our parents to go and tap rubber. Now I remember why our school, primary school. I went to primary school in my village. My village is actually called Sungai Dua, two rivers. I still remember we have our classes in the afternoon. Now I remember why, because the children are given the time to go and help the parents to tap rubber in the morning. So you see the kind of life we have. So I went to primary school. It's a Chinese primary school. That's why I am actually a Chinese educated. It's just that long time I don't use it. I just can't write. But I can speak. I can understand. So the first 6 years in national type primary school, we studied Chinese. Okay, we only started to learn English, as I remember, was in standard 4, but we don't have teacher. Or when we have teacher, we only have a temporary teacher. So we learn very little of English. Okay? We actually started to learn English when we were at the age of 13. When we went to remove class. There's a class before we go to secondary school where we actually learn English. And what we learned that time? What we learned? Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall. And Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. At the age of 13. Now, these type of things, is learned by 3-year-old kids now. So you imagine our language is very poor. So that is a problem. In fact, after standard 6, I still remember my father. I was sitting at my father's Vespa at the back. My father told me, "Hey, Achoya," that was my name. Say, "Hey, no need to go to study anymore. You go and help me to tap rubber." So actually life is very unpredictable, you don't know what you will end up. But so lucky, I don't know how I managed to go to remove class, and I don't know how I actually got a scholarship. I remember very well. That was 40 ringgit a month, and that time was quite some money. And I had my scholarship 40 ringgit until Form 6. Okay. And it was also lucky, I got another scholarship to enter University Malaya. So I managed to go to civil engineering course in University Malaya, and I got a scholarship. And that I remember was 2003 a year, not a month. So that's how the life changes, from a poor family, I can manage to go to study and end up as a civil engineer. Then after that, I start working because I was bound by government. I go to work 10 years. I work in DID, Drainage Education Department, for 10 years. And you know what? I wasted a lot of time, at that time. You know what we did? A gang of us always play mahjong, play mahjong until wee hours, until next morning. And then next morning, go and wash our face, and then go to work. We wasted a lot of time, a lot of energy and time, So you are lucky, you are now in EECAMERON, you are actually guided to do something very good for the future. So don't waste the time. So after I worked 10 years for government as a civil engineer, I left. When my bonds was over, I left and I joined a contracting company, a listed construction company. It was called Powcon Engineering. I worked 10 years there, and I spent most of my time in Singapore. Okay, so it was when I started working in DID. I have some money. I go and invest, put the money, invest, buy some shares. Listen to rumors. People say, "Oh, this one's good." So I buy. The first share I bought, I think it was in the H interview. I bought was Penn Electric. I just bought after 2 days. Actually, the share was delisted. It becomes zero within 2 days. I lost, I think, about 5,000 ringgit. That was a big money at that time,
Yeah.
So after that, I learned nothing. I learned nothing. You do the same thing, listen to rumors. No, sometimes I do read some magazine, follow the tips, and most of the time ended losing money. Okay, that is the experience. So after that, I worked in Singapore. I got more money. I got my salary increased, I got some money, you know. I also invested, you know, those bankers will ask, hey, can you invest with me? Actually, I got this personal banker to invest for me. I think it was 50,000, 50 or 100,000, you know, they will manage a portfolio for you. So every quarter they give you the report. I don't even know how to read, just simply, but I didn't know whether I lose money or win money, but actually I was losing money, you know. I remember, you know, those unit trusts they bought, even a bond fund they bought, you know, the next quarter it changes, you know, the fund changes, you know. So I don't really know what they're doing, and I also don't know what happened. So that was an experience in investing. Now after working for, you know, after working for 10 years for consulting company, then the last 2 years I worked in a consultant firm. Then after the 2 years, we migrated to New Zealand because of our children's education. Because we have three children. So imagine if I will send them for overseas education, you know, how much does it cost? But when I send them, we migrate to New Zealand, we become permanent resident. It's practically free, you know. But I think most important is that they have learned something. You know, they actually also work themselves during holiday. You know, my daughter go to McDonald's to work, you know, and my another daughter go and be a tutor, you know. Actually, they actually don't need my money. Practically, you don't need any of my money. That's how I migrated to New Zealand. You know, when I went to New Zealand, I tried to get a job as civil engineer, but at my age at that time, I was 40 plus. Nobody wanted to employ me. I have written hundreds of letters, nobody wanted to employ me. But finally, a friend of mine asked me to join him to become a supervisor. So I become a supervisor, take care of construction workers, setting up, you know, leveling, the kind of work, which, you know, as a boss in Malaysia, we never do those kind of things. So when I came back, you know, when I told my colleague, former colleague, what I do, they laughed at me. You know? But actually, in this overseas country, nobody cares. You know, it's an egalitarian society. Nobody cares. You know, so as long as don't steal, don't rob, you know, you earn your living. So it's okay. Now, after a while, you know, working as a supervisor also not much fun. So I started to enroll in the university. That's how I started my personal finance planning and graduate diploma in finance, and eventually I got a master of finance. It doesn't mean that if a master of finance, you're a very good investor. Actually, it could be a negative factor because, you know, what we learn is all the time, we are actually brainwashed. Efficient market hypothesis, you know, that kind of thing, you know. Nobody can beat the market, you know. So after graduating, you are brainwashed with that kind of thinking, you know. But one thing good is that in New Zealand, we have a lot of libraries, a lot of books, you know. So I went to library, you know, because a lot of time, I read a lot of books, you know, books like from Peter Lynch, One Up Wall Street, you know, book by, you know, 5 Rules by, can't remember what's his name, and many investment books. Even we also read those non-fiction, like, you know, Enron story about conspiracy theory, the true Enron story. Now these are good books. That's why I mentioned it. You know, the smartest guy in the room, and you know how the corporate people behave. You know, how they manage the income and that kind of thing. You know, even non-fiction, you learn a lot of things. So from there, I gained the knowledge. Of course, I also continue to invest. I find that, you know, following this kind of investing philosophy and methodology, it works. It works. And actually, there's no reason why it doesn't work. Value investing, there's no reason why it doesn't work. You know, you buy a good company at good price, fair price, at cheap price. Of course, 1 or 2 wouldn't work, but now you have a portfolio of 10, you know, 1 or 2 wouldn't work, but, you know, the others will work. You know? There's no reason why it doesn't work. You know? So I would say it's the right part of investing. Okay, that is my life story. You know? I hope you can learn from it. Can actually don't be like me. Simply knock here, knock there. Of course, you will knock here, knock there, but you knock less. But At least you don't knock and fainted and die. At least you that's my story. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Mr. KC. I believe your journey is actually from what I hear now, actually you do have a few turning point in your life, right? The first one is actually the one that you decided to go on to continue in secondary school and then go on to university. That one changed your life from become a poor guy in a village. You break it up and then you go out and then you go to university and you become a civil engineer. So the second life turning point, I think, will be the advice. You know, I saw this on the Edge interview with you. I remember you mentioned about this once. The earliest lesson that you learned is actually do not buy stocks purely based on tips or rumors. So I think this is the second life turning point for you. Actually, you also tumble around because with these rumors, and then you follow the tips, and then you lose your money. So from there, then you also go on to these private bankers and everything, and then you also lost your money. So at the age of around end of 40s, I guess, right? And then you only started to learn about this value investing. It's actually good for us to hear this. You know, it's a Chinese saying, right? 活到老学到老, right? It's never say too old to learn, right? It's very good from your example. I think it's very good for our audience today, because I believe our audience today is actually young investors, and it's actually a good role model for them. You know, to start investment, to start this fundamental value investing, right?
Yeah, certainly. Yeah. In fact, life is full of uncertainties, like share market, full of uncertainties. My life not changed once or twice, many times, from many times. So,
Great.
So don't worry too much about life. Your Chinese say, 船到码头自然直 So try out things, don't worry too much about it, you can knock here, knock there, but don't knock until you fainted and die. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's a very good life advice from Mr. KC Chong, guys. All right. So before so I think after we have heard your introduction, your life journey, I think a lot of our audience today are actually very keen to step into our topic today. So first of all, I think I believe a lot of investors here is actually concerned with the recent oil price and then the COVID-19 crisis. Is affecting our world. So, Mr. KC, would you mind to share some of your thoughts or your opinions on actually how our investor can actually position themselves in these current market conditions?
Don't panic. Okay, but don't be too gung-ho. Right. Now, this actually there are many kinds of investors with different kind of personal risk profile. Your risk profile, your personal risk profile and mine is totally different. So we are different. So how we position ourselves is usually all different, right? I would like to show you a slide to emphasize my point of view. Can you see the graph?
Yes.
Okay. Now, this is the long-term S&P price chart, the S&P 500 index. Can you see that?
Yes.
Yeah. You see, it starts from 1930s, 1920, 1930s. Now, this is a Great Depression. Can see that? The share market actually dropped very severely, right? That is 1930, the Great Depression, right? That's the worst. And there are many cases of big
crisis,
black swans. This is in 1975. This is too long. We look at 1987. A lot of people probably know about 87. Before 1985, 87. Yeah, there is a deep 1987. Most of people like us will remember it's a very severe dip of the share market from here to here. But what do you see? It's just a small blip only, right? It's just a small blip.
Yes.
But you look at the overall, the long-term return, all the way up. You see, even 1987, when the market was so bad at the time, so big dip, and after the internet bubble, also is a very serious drop in the share market where there are a lot of big tech names and lost 91% of the share price. But you look at it, you know, it's not really significant in the long term. Eh? This is not 2008, 2009, okay? This is the financial crisis 10 years, 11 years ago. This was also very serious, very serious. But now we are here now. Huh? So you look over the long term, although they are very severe drop, but they are just, looking at long term, they are just some small blips, you know. So over the long term, the share market is always going up. So if you have a long-term view, you don't have to panic, you know. But also don't be too gung-ho in the sense that, you know, for example, like in a big depression, actually we don't know where we are now. Where we are now, you know. I don't know whether we are here or here or here. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. So if you are here, you are very gung-ho. I salang lah. I know. I salang everything there. What if it drop? You know. So be very wary about it. So don't panic, but don't be too gung-ho, right? So important, as I said, each of us have our own risk profile. You know, for me, I'm retired. You know, I have enough money to last for my retirement. You know, I must have that. You know, because I don't know how deep this drop will be. Will it be further, or is it we're going to be rebound? Actually, nobody knows. You know, so be very important is that for not only for me, for most people, survival is the only road to riches. You must be able to survive in order to get riches. You know, if you can't survive, you can't be riches. You know? So if you have a stable job, okay, you have money to last for next couple of years, you're young, well, maybe this is time to invest. We don't know. We don't know this whether the lowest or not. It probably may not be. It may be, because nobody can predict that. So if you feel like you are like me and you don't have a lot of money, say you only have 5 years money, I think maybe you'll be very careful. Because at my age, although I'm 65 now, okay, I can last another 5 years or 10 years, 20 years. We really don't know, you know. So we must have the money to survive. You know? But if you have a stable job, you are not fully invested yet. You know, you only I haven't started investing. I got a lot of money. I have stable job. I don't worry about my life. Then maybe it's a time to start to nibble and make use of the time, the leverage of time, you know, the compounding, the leverage of time, and do probably live in dollar cost averaging, but using a natural cost dollar averaging, just put some money in and, you know, periodically and invest. Even the market drop, don't worry, you know, over long term, you know, it will go up and you will become rich. But be careful, you must buy good companies.
Yeah, right? That's a very good part.
Not go and speculate, you know.
True.
Okay. So no one can time the market. Nobody can time the market. I mean, there are a lot of experts say. I read a lot this you know, this period. You know, a lot of people say, oh, that cat bounce. You know, you'll be very serious. You know, probably yes, but they also half of them. I'm not talking about very famous economists will say, you see, with the economic stimulus, you know, US put in trillions of dollars into the economy. All over the world, government put in a lot of money into the economy. Malaysia also put in, Singapore also put in. So we really don't know, you know, what will happen. It's very uncertain, I would say. So remember, to be survival is important, but it's also a good opportunity to start investing for different people with different personal risk profile. Okay.
Great.
But of course, you have to avoid some of the industries. You know, some industry may be very precarious. You know, the companies with very very bad balance sheet. The industry will not recover for the next few years. I mean, I'm sure you can guess what kind of industry to try to avoid. So important is that do no harm. Okay, don't do something stupid. Work, save money, but don't overspend. Don't overspend money. Okay, don't incur unnecessary debt. Learn the right part of investing. And I always think that the right part of investing is using the fundamental approach. That is value investing. Okay, treat buying a company, buying a stock as investing in part of a business, part of a company. All right, start investing young. Don't waste time like me. Last time, waste time, play mahjong, that kind of thing. Right.
Great. Okay, so thank you, Mr. KC, for your sharing regarding to this advice to our investor today and our audience today. It's a very good advice because now we also see a lot of these gurus and then a lot of people on the Facebook, even on their blogs, they share about this market, just like what you have mentioned just now. They share that now is the market, is the bottom, and then it's the time to pick up everything. So one thing good is that never time the market. This is the golden quote in this investment industry. Never time the market, and then diversification is also one of the things. And then just now you also mentioned about cash. You say cash flow is a very good criteria that we must have in our investment, not only looking into a company but also in our own investment strategy. And I believe this cash flow is also one of these criteria when you look into some good company. So we'll share this in the later session, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So just now you have mentioned about your experience, everything. So I noticed one of your articles, back in 2013, end of 2013, in an article titled with Christmas reflections of the pitfalls in investing in Bursa 2013, right? That time you mentioned about this London biscuits, one of the most classical example of a growth stock track. Back in 2013, this London biscuits was actually doing very well in their financial performance, and it has never made any losses for at least 9 years. Yet over that time, you managed to detect this company, amidst among all the glorious performance. Would you mind to share with our audience today, how do you actually identify these lemon stocks, in the stock markets when everyone's are cheering about it?
Okay, that's a very good question. Because this is a classic example how to avoid lemon stock. I'll share you some screen, right?
Guys, audience, if you enjoyed today's session, please share this to your friends, to everyone, to come and actually learn from our Mr. KC Chong. All right. So if you enjoyed, just comment in the bottom comment section. Click yes if you enjoyed it. All right.
Okay. You see the screen now. This is the share price movement of London biscuit. Can you see?
Yes.
This is the somewhere 2013. Actually, to identify lemon, actually, like a case like London biscuit, actually is a no-brainer. Actually, if you know how to, you are using the fundamental approach, read financial statement, that kind of thing. This is a share price movement of London biscuit. From 2011 to now. You can see that actually London biscuit, the highest price was actually was 2 something over here. In 2000 something was 2 something. And they started dropping, and when I do my analysis on London biscuit, actually London biscuits was used as an example in my online course, how to compare companies and identify lemons. Now this is a time somewhere at this time. So when I talk about London biscuit, but after that actually London biscuit share price actually went up. Okay, went up, not much there, but after that, just about 2 years ago, it started to come down, and just about a year ago, it actually plunged, and now it's actually PN 17 now. It's practically 0 now, right? I don't see any reason it can come out again, because it has a lot of debt, but they can't even pay bank interest of a few million. and owing hundreds of millions in debt. How to survive? There's no way you can survive. Now, can you see my screen here?
Yes.
Okay. This was the book I written. Anyway, look at London Biscuit. Now, you look at London Biscuit, as Josh has mentioned, actually, London Biscuit seems like to be doing well, with the revenue growing, like from 2006 to 2013, growing. This is at a rate of about 15.2%. Very good. 15.2% for a period of time is actually a very good growth. But the net income, actually, net income also not bad. It doesn't go down. It went down here, but actually came up again. But the long term, probably flat. But high revenue grow, but net income doesn't grow. I say this is a growth in revenue. Is it clear, not Josh, the graph?
Yes, the graph is clear. I'm not sure whether our audience can see it clear. So if you can see Mr. KC Chong's slides on the screen, just type a yes and let us know so we can continue with our session, so everyone can actually know about what we are sharing now. Just comment yes in the comment section below.
Okay, this is growth in revenue and growth in profit. You can see revenue grow very fast, but net profit like that. See that way you can see some problem now. What is the problem? The return of equity of London Biscuit from 2006, it was actually very good, at 12%. I guess most of you understand what is return of equity. ROE is return of equity. Return is net income divided by equity. Equity is the book value. Book value of the book value of the company.
Of a company, yes.
Yeah. It was very good. 12%. Probably here also not bad. 12%, which is very good. Anything above ROE 10%, I would say reasonably good. Higher ROE, of course, is better. But it plunged to 7%, and then in 2013, when I was talking about it, it's only about 4.2%. Why the problem with the ROE low is no good? Because you see, when we as investors invest in a stock, we would want a return. So we have a required return of an equity investor. Tell me, you want to invest in a company, what is the expectation? What is your expectation? What kind of return you want? For me, I want at least 10%. At least 10% return. If I put 10,000, I would want 1,000 return every year. Why? Because I'm investing in business. Business is a higher risk. Business can anytime bankrupt or lose money, so it's higher risk. It's unlike when I invest in a bank deposit. Give me 3%, I'm happy with that. Because I'm for sure I can get a 3%, but not when invested in company. So you want a higher return of equity. At 4% is definitely not good. Why would I want to invest in a company when I get 4% return if I can put bank for 4% without any risk? And 4% in London Biscuit, I am incurring a lot of risk. So bad. But you look more carefully. You look at the cash flow of London Biscuit. This is net income almost flat, and then is this cash flow from operation. That is the real cash the company receives every year. Not accounting. This net income is just accounting profit, but this is real cash every year. This is this cash, not so much. And you see that this is the cash flow from operation. Actually, cash flow from operation. Look at London Biscuit. It can deceive you. It can bluff you. You can see that actually not bad. Cash flow from operation not bad, except here. Not bad, But if you look further, you look at the free cash flow. What is free cash flow? Free cash flow is, you have cash flow from operation, which is this. Then you minus the capital expenses. Every year, company spend money on capital expenses for growth, more lines of production for growth, But you can see every year the company spend a lot of money in tens of millions in buying equipment. That's why when you use cash flow from operation minus the purchase of plant and equipment, property, plant and equipment, you get a free cash flow. You can see that this is zero. Every year is negative. Every year is negative. That means the business is actually sucking cash, sucking cash from the business. How? You don't know your cash, how? So, very bad business. Without cash, what do you do? Okay, before I talk about what do you do? Why the business sucking cash? You can see that, revenue growth very nicely. But you can see this here, the growth of, especially from 2011, the growth in receivable. Receivable means people owe you money.
Receivable, yes.
Receivable. People owe you money. You say you have sold this product, go into your account, but people still haven't paid you. But the receivable growth very high. You look at the growth in relative to revenue is a lot higher growth in the receivable. That's why that's one of the reasons is it affects the free cash. The cash flow from operation. Free cash flow is after capital expenses. So what will happen? Every year, the business sucking cash. You got to borrow money, right? If not, where you got money or issue more shares. What happens? You issue more shares, dilution of your earning. The shareholders will actually come up money in right issue. Shareholders has to come up money for the right issue. The company also keep on borrow money from the bank, so the debt keep on increasing every year without fail. So ROE deteriorating, receivable increasing, negative free cash flow. So debt increasing. That is the problem of London Biscuit. You look at the financial statement. I mean, all of them: income statement, balance sheet, and cash flow statement together. You can see it very clearly. It's actually crystal clear if you know how to read financial statement. That's why it's very important to learn about this. The only thing I feel very useful I learned from my master finance is how to read financial statement, and that is only one chapter in my course. So very important. So balance sheet also important. You have to look at the balance sheet. Like look at the balance sheet of London Biscuit. I know a lot of people don't look at balance sheet, because people only look at income statement, how much they earn, that's the only thing. But you look at the balance sheet of London Biscuit, and you do some analysis, current ratio. I presume you all understand that because I don't want to explain too much. Is it okay, Josh?
Yep.
Because
yes.
it will take too long time.
I'm sure they will know about this current ratio. If you don't know, it's okay. Later on, I will let my technical person, our EECAMERON team member, to actually put out some of the brief explanation in the comment section for our audience today. So Mr. Casey, you can carry on.
Yeah, you look at the current ratio, 0.6. Current ratio, I will need about at least 1.2, 1.5, because if it's more than 1.2, 1.5, that means there's a more current asset than current liability. Then you are not so at risk. Don't have the kind of liquidity risk. Quick ratio, that is after you take out the inventory, the current ratio less the inventory divided by the current liability. For London Biscuit, 0.5. I need at least one. At least one. Why? Because I must have enough current asset to pay current liability if required to. When there's a financial crisis, economic crisis, I need to. Wondering why London Biscuit go into bankruptcy? Don't have enough current asset to pay current liability. Not enough money to pay bank debt. Interest coverage is the operating income divided by interest coverage in interest payment. 2.5 is very low. I will need, like this type of company, actually interest coverage varies the benchmark. This type of company, I will require at least 10. Long-term financial strength, the gearing ratio, total debt over total equity, 0.5. That means there is more debt than equity, higher debt than equity. 0.5 means total debt over equity, so that means is more debt than equity. That is actually quite risky. Then you look at the breakdown of the asset of London Biscuit, 77.4%. And I remember there was a 500 million is in PPE, property, plant, and equipment.
Yes.
Those machineries, I don't know how much it's worth, in a fire sale. The rest, the second highest is trade and other receivables. People owe you money, cash a little bit, So how you think London Biscuit has a net tangible asset of 2.5 something, but 77.4% is in PPE. Okay, but London Biscuit at that time I think was selling about 50 cents. Why at a net tangible asset of 250? Why is just selling 50 cents? London Biscuit was having a PE ratio. All this sort of PE ratio is 5, 8. Why? Because the earning is not real. Because earning is not translated into cash flow. That is a problem. Okay, so that is a main reason why London Biscuit went into bankruptcy. Actually, as I say, it's very easy to see. This is only one of the companies I talk about. In fact, in that article you read, there were 9 companies. Okay, 8 out of 9, all kaput. Few of them actually gone into PN17. Like another one that is one still alive and kicking. KNM is another one. It's there.
Yeah.
But it's very precarious. I haven't looked at it, but I don't think it ever recover. Right? Okay. So that's how we can identify lemons. So identify them. When some people give you some tips, go back and look at this sort of thing. If it's like that, avoid it. You will avoid losing big money. When you do lose money, all other alternative is better, isn't it, Josh?
Yes.
If you don't lose money, all other alternatives is better. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
correct.
Investing is not only about think about making money. Think about risk. What are the risks involved? Right.
Yep. Okay. So, Mr. Chong, just now you shared about your, I think just now the things that you share is actually a very simple and the fundamental thing, the basic thing to the investment. Look at the ratios and then look at the past year's performance for the company. But that's the point that a lot of investors currently, they are not doing it because, they listen to rumors or the tips, then they will straight away go into it without doing due diligence on the companies. And then, so I think this is a very good point for our audience today. You get a very good takeaway today from only this question. Also, you get when you look into the company, you have to look into their past revenue growth, and not only that, you also look into their assets, their balance sheet, and also their receivable, and then look for the fishy things in the company. You always must have this business sense when you're looking into the annual report. What doesn't make sense, and then what makes sense. So thank you to Mr. KC for sharing those things, about the current ratio, about the quick ratio. So for those of you who just now you don't have time to take down this thing, don't worry. I believe some of the audience, they actually already take note of it, and then whoever have chopped down all the points, you can just comment it at the comment section and then share it to everyone else, for them to actually have this checklist when they look into some companies, when they only have like 30 minutes or to 1 hour, then they can actually look at this thing, where to avoid some of the lemon stocks.
Am I back to the screen now?
Yes, you are back to the screen. Okay, so Mr. KC Chong, thank you for this sharing about how to identify lemon stock, and then in your book, because actually we do also purchase your book and then we read your books, and in your book you did mention that you prefer using the bottom-up approach rather than the top-down approach, where top-down approach are actually advocate and propagate by a lot of investment analysts in the global market as well. So in the appearance of current black swan events, such as COVID-19, we also couldn't deny that some of the companies are taking a major blow from these cash flow issues and these COVID-19s and also our oil price war. So do you mind to share with us what is your consideration in actually using the bottom-up approach instead of using the top-down approach?
I'm not an economist. No, but
yes, I understand.
But seriously, I when I do finance, I also learn about economics. But I'm no expert in economics. But a lot of times we always say we should have done this, we should have done that. A lot of things are actually hindsight bias. Many times actually the market is very unpredictable. The COVID-19, well, it happened some time ago in China, but I think a lot of people also didn't expect it to be so bad. It's actually very bad. Very bad.
It's very bad. Yes, correct.
So the world has actually turned upside down by this COVID-19. Not only people die, we have lockout, but even after that, after less people die, and we start the economic activities, we also don't know how long it will take to actually fully recover. It might take a long time, might or might not take a long time, because as I mentioned before, because a lot of this economic stimulus package, we don't know what will happen. So the market is filled of uncertainty. That is for sure. Plunge of oil, COVID-19, plunge in oil price, Malaysia more problem, our political upheaval. Nobody talk about it now. Actually, I don't know how serious it's all. Okay. Now, talk about this COVID-19. How long will it last? Okay. How deep the economic crisis the pandemic create? How will the consumer respond to the crisis? We don't know. But on those are negative points. A lot of negative points. A lot. But there are some positive events. Wuhan completely get out from the crisis. Wuhan.
The crisis, yes.
How many million people? 60 million, something like that. They locked down, and now is everything okay? Open up. As I say, US put in trillions of stimulus package all over the world, our government, and also there's also a race for the vaccine for COVID-19. Most medical authorities say it will still take at least 12 months or so.
Ago, yeah.
12 months, at least another 12 months, some say 18 months, But there are also some authorities say they are actually may not be that long, because they actually have some clinical trials now, And you look at our today's number. Our number actually dropped drastically. And the
yes,
number
correct.
of recovery has been more than those tested positive. So is that something good? Will it recover? I also don't know. I don't know. So when will the economic recovery? Is it going to be V-shaped? I don't know. Some economists say, is it going to U-shape? I also don't know. It may be L-shape. Seriously, also very hard to say. So a lot of uncertainties. 50% say like this, 50% of the experts say like this, 50% of the other experts say like that. So who to listen to? So for me, I'm an investor. I am not an expert. So I can only control what I can do. I control, focus what I can control on. Okay, what I can do is I look for good companies. If I got money, I buy. If they are selling cheap, many of them are selling cheap now. If I got money, I buy. If I don't have money, well, I might switch some of my stock in portfolio. I am still quite invested, So if I don't, I think I don't want to put in more money. I might say, I look at maybe this type of industry better, this company better. I sell some and buy this, So that's what I do. a lot of macro things, not only COVID-19, many other things, inflation, you talk about interest rate, inflation, you know, all of things. One fellow said this, one fellow said, you know, and I said, we cannot control. So I only can do what I can control by top down, not top down, bottom up.
Bottom up, yes.
Yeah. That's it.
Well, okay. Well, thank you, Mr. KC, for this bottom up sharing. Because from what you shared just now, actually, yeah, for the COVID-19 and all those black swan events, actually, we can't predict it to happen, you know, and we never expected it to happen, you know, 2 black swan events at once. And also, we do have our local, our domestic political issue happening right before the Wuhan virus actually came out in the picture. So I think it's a very good way that we can try to, you know, stop and think about it, whether the top-down approach really benefit to us, or the bottom-up approach is actually the one that benefiting to us. Because in this current market time, right, good fundamental company also will drop, but will it sustain in the next 5 or 10 years is a very good point. So this brings us to our next question, whereby how can we actually identify the quality business, you know, and what are the criteria, you know, that define a quality and sustainable business, you know, for us to actually look into it, and also to really study about the fundamental value investing. So Mr. KC, would you mind to share us some of these criteria that you actually advocating and you actually using it in your investment strategies?
Yeah, that is an excellent question, sir. At this point of time, I think for those who has money, young people, it's a good time to look for good quality companies, excellent quality companies to invest for long term. Okay. Now, I have not been, seriously speaking, I have not been doing that. I have a little bit different way. I still try to look for good companies, you know, but many of them are not for long term, you know, but I can make actually, you know, I can look for those, I would say, reasonable good company and invest when they are cheap. And at times I can actually make very good profit within a short period of time, you know. But the better way to do for most people actually is investing quality companies for long term, especially for those who don't have much knowledge, don't have much time to do it, you know, maybe that is better. So that is a very good question. Now, I think most people will know or can guess what are the good companies, you know, when you ask about good company, people say, oh, Top Group, Hartalega, you know, Nestle. Yes, they're excellent companies, you know. Why? Nestle, Carlsberg, Heineken, all these are excellent companies because their products are fast moving. Nestle, Nagini, Milo, Nespresso, they're fast moving, you know. People consume, you know, when you consume, you keep on buying, you know, keep on buying. Beer company like Carlsberg, Heineken, you know, I am a golfer. My golfer friends, every time after the game, go to the club there, beer, Carlsberg. After that, dinner, Carlsberg, you know. After that, go somewhere else, Carlsberg, you know. They're doing a lot of beer, you know. Sometimes you go to just normal coffee shop, you see a lot of people gathering, 10 of them, bottles of beer. Imagine, once they drink, they have to replenish, buy a new one. Beer, when you're happy, you go and celebrate. Very happy, you celebrate. When you're sad, also you drink beer. 消愁, 借酒消愁, also good, you know. So these are very fast-moving kind of products, you know. They are excellent companies. But, I mean, price is a different thing. I'm talking about quality of company. Now, other excellent companies are, I just mentioned, like company like Glove Company, Dot Group, Hartalega, or all these Kosan, you know. They are the provider of products that always must be purchased. Always must be purchased. You know, in medical, now because of COVID-19, you know, there will be more stock up of gloves by you know, those big companies. So more people using glove, and the glove depleting, so stock up again. So there will be more demand for, these are companies, the products which always must be purchased, like medical product like Pfizer, those medicine, then
Medicine company, yeah.
Yeah, then the hospital, like KPJ or the kind of companies. Utility companies, you always need to have electricity, like aircon electricity, like TNB, that thing. You need to purchase, toll road, like lead truck, every time you go, you pay toll. You cannot say I don't pay toll, and you have to pay toll, and you also don't want to say, I will take the long road, like, you wasted 1 hour. So these are the companies which are excellent in that sense. Other than that, of course you have heard of this Warren Buffett bought Geico insurance company, Geico, very, very, very good company, because everybody need to purchase insurance, car insurance, general insurance, that kind of thing, credit rating company. When you want to, any company want to issue a bond, you could go to credit rating. Your credit rating say your bond is BB minus, then you one case. So even a company like Genting is also is sort of a company in demand, because of external influence, like Malaysia. Would there be any casino? There won't be anymore, right? There's only Genting.
Yeah,
you want to go, you got to go and gamble. A lot of people gamble. A lot of people go to Genting.
True.
So they go to Genting. Or nice weather, some more, nice food. And I think also, business with very high level of scalability. When the marginal cost of the business is sort of like equal to zero, marginal cost of the business is zero, or the marginal revenue is equal to marginal cost. Anything you sell is become your profit. Like what? Like Microsoft, Google, Facebook, Netflix, Pfizer, Merck, Tencent, Alibaba.
Yeah.
The marginal cost is very low because they're big conglomerate, and then last but not least are those the cheapest product in the market, like Walmart.
Mr. KC, you want to drink some water? Yes, go ahead. Thank you, Mr. KC, for sharing a lot of this productive information to us. Right, you're good to carry on?
Yeah. So like Walmart sell things very cheap, So but they sell billions and billions of it. Because they are so big, they sell billion of this product. They have the power, they have the bargaining power. So I believe Walmart doesn't need any working capital. They sell, they collect the money, and they pay the creditor much later. And because of the size, and the bargaining power, although the price is low, but they are still very good. Scalability, cheapest product. The other one maybe like Amazon, same thing. Now I talk a lot about this US company because they're not very hard to find in Malaysia. We talk about excellent company.
True.
It's not easy.
True.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that is a qualitative aspect of excellent company. I tend to go further. Besides qualitative, I look at quantitative. The quantitative aspect of a great company is that company good growth, high growth company. Okay, because growth can actually compound the earning very fast. So growth is a very important. In fact, most people understand that. Most good investor, they look for growth. Leng Yan told me, no growth, no buy. That is growth. Yeah. Okay. But to me, growth is very important. Okay. But as long as some growth is good enough for me. But more important to me, more important metric is that it must earn the return more than its cost of capital. Okay, that means ROC must be higher than the cost of capital, whether it's weighted average cost of capital or cost of equity, whatever. Because if a company growth very high growth, if your ROC is below your cost, actually is really destroying. Just like London Biscuit. Later of the days, actually you destroy value, you go bankrupt because your return of capital is lower than your cost. Like London Biscuit's case is much below its cost. That's why it go kaput. So it's very important. How to get high return of capital? 2 or 3 things. Good profit margin, high profit margin, but not necessarily all the time high profit margin. You must also, and the other one which is very good is high asset turnover. That means you sell a lot, like Walmart, you sell a lot. Okay, high return, like those company like Rolex, Ferrari, high profit margin, but their asset turnover is lower, but they still keep very high return on capital. So high return on capital, not necessarily high margin, but also high asset turnover. The third factor is high leverage. You borrow people's money, borrow a lot of money, and you can actually amplify your return of capital. But that is a little bit risky, because if you get too high debts, in time of economic or financial crisis, you can have problems. So the best thing is high profit margin and high asset turnover. Of course, the third thing is cash flow. We just talk about London Biscuit. When there's no cash flow, okay, a growing company will need a lot of cash, need a lot of working capital, okay, need a lot of capex. Yeah, that's understandable. 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, okay. But over the long term, you should produce free cash flow. When the growth slow, you must produce free cash flow. And the best thing is that if you're a high growth company, very high return of capital, and there's an opportunity to reinvest this return, into the best, back into the business, then that will be a fantastic company.
Great. So, Mr. KC, just now you mentioned about the growth. So, your growth is in terms of the revenue growth or the earning growth of a company? Did you mention this now?
It should be both, when
both.
If there's only revenue growth, you don't have profit growth, like London Biscuit is no good. But if you have any profit growth, no revenue growth, that means you're actually doing a lot of cost cutting, a lot of austerity drive, cost cutting, but there's a limit to it, is it? A limit to cost cutting. So it's better to have revenue growth which come together with profit growth.
I understand. Well, that's a very good point. And then, in fact, you did share a lot of these financial terms for us actually to take down as the checklist. I think it will be a very good checklist for us, when we screen through companies, we look through the revenue and the profit growth. And then I think this is one of the bonus that we take. We get today is we also know the quotes from our Leng Yan, from Mr. Fong Siling, the no growth, no buy. I think this is a very good quote, by him. And then it's actually true. When a company, they have revenue growth but no profit growth, just like I think one of the very famous company case study in this recent year will be the Carex, the condom manufacturer. Yeah, I think because I also stepped into Carex, I think a few years ago when the CEO, they announced that, we're gonna build our own brands and then everything. So we believe it. And then you can see the revenue growth every year, but the profit doesn't follow, So I think this is also the trap that actually, as an investor, we should actually look at both the revenue and the profit, and also the cash flow, which I admit that over that time I miss out all these things. So I also step into Carex and then make a very heavy losses over that time. So these are some very good criteria, for us to actually look into the company. And I believe everyone would have know about this. Okay, so before we go into the next question, I saw this question from one of these comment. This Mr. V. Chi Hao asked, how long the growth must grow? I think his question is about what are the duration that we actually should look for a revenue or the profit growth? 5 years or 3 years?
You see, very important, you must remember, investing is about the future. It's not the past. It's more of the, when I talk about growth, actually I'm referring to the future. But of course, sometimes we have to look at the past as a guide. So to look at the future, sometimes we have to look at the business, the industry. Read the report, read the annual report. What does the management say? Management can give you guidance nowadays. And look at the capital expenses. The management say, oh, we have spent money to open more lines. And you look at the cash flow statement. Actually, wow, they have spent a lot of money these few years on CapEx. And actually, you can see the growth in revenue. Then that is a sign. So it's important to look at maybe the last couple of years, how much it spent on CapEx. What does the management say in the annual report? What is the market? The addressable market. What is the future? That is more important than looking at 10-year growth. Because past growth is at best is to use as a guide. Look at the future, but not easy. Not easy. Future, the expectation of future growth is not easy, but do some reading. What the management say, what the industry. Maybe you have a better feel. That's the best.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. And I understand. I believe some audience you will know what kind of industry is growing, and then what are the sunset industry. Because just at Mr. KC just now early in this question, he did share about the fast moving consumer goods industry, and then he talked about this asset turnover and the inventory turnover, which is a very good, because when people consume more, and then this kind of give this company a very good revenue inflow. So these are the very good things that we should actually look into it. So yeah. So other than this, how to look into the lemon stocks, and also look into the good this quality and sustainable business. All right. So let's hold on first before we get into this investment book recommendation. You also mentioned that Bursa Malaysia is actually less efficient. Just now you also share about more towards this US stock, because you said it's quite hard to get a very good company in Malaysia. So given that the Bursa Malaysia is quite less efficient, and I also noticed that you also share about some of the certain principle and methods used and recommended by most of the investor, the prominent investor in the past, like Peter Lynch and also the Philip Fisher, their bottom up methods, and the scatterbutt method by this Philip Fisher. So do you think that this kind of investment methodology is actually suit our stock market in Malaysia?
Oh, definitely. That's why. Well, I know about efficient market very well. So I would say yes. Malaysia, the method you're using, value investing, whether it's Philip Fisher or Peter Lynch, it can be used here because the market here is less efficient. Now, what is the efficient market hypothesis? Actually, maybe I can explain a little bit about it.
Yeah, sure.
Now, you see, generally market, especially like a big market like US, is generally, I'm saying generally efficient. Because why? The efficient market hypothesis means that the market is efficient. That means nobody can profit from the market unless you take additional risk. You take higher risk, then you get higher expected return. Expected return, not sure. Not doesn't mean that you take higher risk, you get higher return. Expected means you expect. It's not an outcome. So this efficient market is actually quite powerful. It's synced together with this one principle in finance. The principle of arbitrage. The principle of arbitrage is such that say like, for example, this stock, whatever stock, say stock A, is selling at this price at $10 in the market now. Now, if it is worth, if the price worth say $12 is selling at $10, people will tend to tend to chase it, to the actual price. So there'll be a lot of people buying. Then eventually the price will reach $12, which is okay lah. We call it implicit value, right? Or on the other hand, if a stock is say $20, but its implicit value is $15, then a lot of people see that this stock is overvalued, so they sell until the price will drop to $15. So that is the market efficiency or arbitrage. Then the stock is undervalued, people will chase it. When it's undervalued, people will overvalued, people will sell it. So why is US such an efficient market? Imagine in US, you know how many, the number of smart participants in US, the number of fund managers, the number of analysts, professional analysts with MBA, PhD, thousands of them, every day look at the stock market and analyze, So how could you find inefficiency when there are so many smart people around doing it, So US is a very efficient market because of the high number of smart participants. Malaysia is a bit different because the US, in one stock, say one big stock, there will be hundreds of them following it, hundreds of analysts follow them. Even a small cap stock, there were people who follow, there are analysts who follow. But in Malaysia, it's not so. Maybe you have like a public bank or Kabuda, you have maybe a few analysts, following it every now and then, write report on it, But those are smaller cap, like mid cap and smaller cap, like FPI or Magnitech, there'll be very few people writing report, maybe one or two, So if you look at some other smaller stock, maybe there's nobody follow, So if you have some knowledge, you study it, you find it undervalued, then you buy it, over some time, probably the share price will go up and people realize it. When the result come out, really, it's good, and people realize it, the stock will go up. That's how you can profit from it. So that's why in Malaysia, it's not that efficient. In fact, I would say it's quite inefficient. A lot of analysts report I actually read, on a small cap, London Biscuit was actually was touted by some analysts. Okay, KNN was actually touted by analysts because you understand, analysts actually they are smart people. They're not stupid. They are very smart. They are smarter than us. I got a master of finance, but I don't do things like them. I think they are better than me in analysis. But they have their own interests. Okay, a lot of analysts, investment bankers, they have their own interests. So you must bear in mind it. That's a conflict of interest a lot. But it's like that, human being, profession, for survival, it's like that, So I would say, yes, we can profit in the Malaysian market. It's inefficient, and we can actually make use of all this to value investing to actually profit from the market, getting extraordinary return. Yeah.
Great. So thank you, Mr. KC Chong, for the sharing on our Malaysian market. And I believe one day we will become a very efficient market, but sooner or later it will definitely become an efficient market, just in the matter of time, right? And okay, so because due to our time constraint today, so I think I will cut short of some questions, and let us continue with the last question before we actually ended our session. And perhaps later, if you have time, then we can take 1 to 2 question from the audience. So after you have shared so much, right, and then early in our live session, when you introduce yourself, right, you did mention that you read a lot of investment books before you actually learn into this fundamental investing. So do you have any investment books recommendation to our audience today, for them to have time to look into some books, to read some books, especially in this MCO period where everyone have to stay at home, then they have nothing to do. Perhaps they can go and read some investment books and then instill some knowledge and good fundamental value investing this knowledge for them. Do you have any recommendation books for them?
Oh, can I show it here?
Sure.
Can see,
Okay, yeah. Perhaps you can just bring it from, yes, this is the millionaire next door, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
before
correct.
you invest, you must know how to save money.
Great.
And save
Great.
money, then invest. So how to save money? This is a good book. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. Before you delve in the stock market, thinking that stock market is so easy to make money, before that, but read this book first.
Oh, A Random Walk Down Wall Street. Yeah, it's a very good book.
Yeah, this is talking about efficiency market efficiency. You must understand market efficiency before you try to find market inefficiency. That's what I'm thinking of. This is one of the books I read last time. I read only once.
Yeah, it's a very thick book though.
Yeah, this is always recommended by investing community, but I find it a bit, after reading once, I don't want to read anymore. a bit down, but a very useful book. Yeah. Very useful book. Yeah, very useful book. You know, highly recommended by the investing community. But I will actually recommend you this book.
By Leng Yan.
Yeah. 投资正道
正道 yes.
投资正道. Of course, you got another one. This is the earlier one. 30年股票投资心得. 心得 is very important. You must have the right mindset. So learn about the 心得. These are more or a lot some analysis, you know. So after this very good. You got another one. This one I haven't read yet. A bit difficult for me, you know.
Yeah.
So these are some of the good books, but I will recommend you, which I don't have here. I read it from library, and I don't know, some of them I don't know where I kept. One of the books, which is I think very important, is by this Howard Marks. The most important thing. That one, no figure, no number, but also is a mindset. Talk about how do you look at stocks, the risk, you know, the kind of thing. Very, very useful. The most important thing, Illuminated. I think the most important, Illuminated. The book by Howard Marks. The most important things, Illuminated.
Yeah, I think you did share about this book in one of your blog, right? I remember I read about it.
Most likely, yeah. Then the other one is by T.D. Brown, What Has Worked in Investing. Very simple, easy to read. Quite an old book, but
old book, yeah.
You know, in value investing is evergreen. It is, true. You know, the principle is evergreen. You know? Although it's an old book, that is a good book. Of course, you want further to understand some analysis of quantitative things. This Professor Aswad Damodaran, he has written a few books. One of them is the little book about valuation. And Professor Aswad Damodaran is also a valuation authority in the world.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it.
Wow. Thank you for sharing so much. But I believe because you have become the author, you know, you also have published your own book. Would you mind to share, just take a little time, share with our audience today about your book? And then I'm curious, I wonder why you didn't add it to the book recommendation for our people to actually read it about your book. You can do you mind to recommend your book to us, you know, about this recent new published book?
Oh, okay. This is a book, right? Can you see?
Yes.
Now this book, yeah, I just wrote it. It was published in end of January. Actually, I have written a lot of articles in i3, so I compiled the articles. At the same time, I put in the financial statement analysis and all the valuation things inside there. So it's actually very comprehensive, complete, and comprehensive. It covers a lot of things from the crisis, from personal finance, you know, then from the stock market crisis, then look and some investment principle, and then the financial statement analysis, valuation, and all kind of things. It's very complete. So when I wrote this book, actually I was thinking for this book for my past course participants who would understand what I'm written. But for the public, actually, when I pass it to my publisher, my publisher come back to me and said, hey, this book cannot sell one, it's too heavy, very heavy, because you talk about a lot of things like, talk about cash flow, talk about ROIC, talk about discount cash flow and all these things. Too many things are too heavy, which is actually, I agree with him, it's quite true, because actually in the market, nobody look at this kind of things. There are some books in the market which are very sellable, they are very simple, but my purpose of writing this book, actually I was thinking for my past participant. So I started to do it, and then I get my publisher to publish it. I actually wondering whether I can sell it, whether I can sell a couple of hundred or 500 copies to actually cover my cost at least. Even I lose some money also, never mind. So after that, I actually call for a pre-ordering from my past course participants, all these things, and also some other people. Pre-ordering. It surprised me. I got a pre-ordering of thousands of books. Pre-ordering. They pre-order and wait for 2 months, 3 months to get the book. So that is the kind of support I got. So with that, I publish it. That's how. I say this book is can be a bit heavy, but it also there's some light stuff. Like for example, you want to do analysis. Some of the analysis like ROE, I think it's very important. Cash flow kind of thing, I think it's not that difficult. You can actually, if you want to spend time, you can actually learn about it. But of course, discount cash flow is a bit, this sort of thing, discount cash flow, whether you want to read about it, want to learn about it, I mean, it's okay because you can learn other things. But there are other things like enterprise value, which I also emphasize, which also I don't see anybody emphasizing it in any book. But to me, I think they are very important. Enterprise value, people value things like PE ratio, which is, I think, a bit simplistic. We've got to look at other things like enterprise value in relation to its operating income, that kind of thing. So yeah, I'm very happy that this book actually, quite sellable.
Selling very well.
Yeah. In fact, Bu Fan also helped me to sell quite a lot of this book. Actually, he has helped me a lot in selling this book. The purpose of my publishing of this book is not, to publish a book, you don't make a lot of money, because book you don't really make money. But it's more for thinking of sharing and propagating this value investing. So actually, Bu Fan also selling for me. You are interested, you can get a copy from Bu Fan also. Bu Fan.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah. So I believe just now with all the criteria and then the financial terms and the ratio, everything that you shared just now, right? Is there everything that you share is actually compiled in the book?
Yeah. As I said, this book is very comprehensive. I'm sure about how to value ROE, ROIC, DuPont analysis. People say, what DuPont analysis? But I also there valuation. I use all kind of valuation. Enterprise value, PE, price to cash flow, dividend yield, discount cash flow, absolute method. It's very a lot of them. But it's depend on I mean readers can actually choose and pick what's suitable for them. What is suitable for them.
Yep. Okay. So thank you, Mr. KC Chong, for your sharing on your book. And I'm sure for those of the most of you of our audience here, if you cannot keep up with the things that Mr. KC Chong just now was sharing, don't worry. We will have this recording on our Facebook page. Remain until tomorrow. After that, we will actually edit it and post it on our YouTube channel. Right. So for those who are interested to Mr. Chong, Mr. KC Chong book, the Invest Like a Stock Market Guru, the complete value investing guide that works, right? You can actually get it from one of our honorable guests as well. That we have him last week to actually do an interview with him as well. 不凡的理财笔记，不凡。So anyone who are interested, you can get on the. I think we have a link in the description area, so you can just click on the link, and if you are interested, you can just order it with 不凡. All right. So I think thank you, Mr. KC Chong here. It's our pleasure today that we can actually catch you. You know,
Thank you.
we actually quite thankful for the MCO because of that, then you cannot go back. You are unable to go back to New Zealand, and that's where we actually can have this chance to actually invite you on our show today. And very big thanks to you. And before we end, do you have any last word to our audience today?
Thank you for having me here. I always like to share about investing knowledge and experience. So, in fact, anyone interested, you can actually email me to discuss or ask any question about value investing. I'm most happy to share. After all, I'm retired. This is my passion, my hobby.
Oh, thanks. It's a very noble hobby, though. Right. Okay. So thank you, everyone, and thank you, Mr. KC Chong, here with us today. Okay. So whoever you like what have been shared by our Mr. KC Chong, you can log on to i3 Investor Forum. Look for KC Chong and Zach. Right. He has shared a lot of articles on this i3 Investor Forum as well. You can just go on and then you can read throughout this MCO period. I believe you can get much information, and you can gain a lot of knowledge about value investing from there. And those who love our interview today, and we will have more interview session coming tomorrow as well. We will have one live interview session with Warren Mark. All right, so just stay tuned on our Facebook page. If you like, just go on to our Facebook page, EECAMERON, to like it. All right, thank you, everyone, and thank you for spending your time here today with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
如果你喜欢我们这支影片的话，请记得在我们的影片下方点个赞，以及订阅我们的 YouTube 频道 EECAMERON 投资理财分享。我们会陆陆续续的分享更多投资理财相关的视频给大家。谢谢大家，我们下个影片见。